Good afternoon. My name is Clint, and this is Yin Yoga. Today, we're going to be doing a class that works on your hips, on your spine, and on your shoulders. And so you will need a strap. You will not need one with a clasp or a block. A couple of blocks you'll need, and then maybe a towel. And today, I'd like you to start in the pose of a child. So to get into that, you can come to table. You can bring your knees out as wide as you'd like. You can bring your knees way out, and you get a little bit more of a groin stretch. Or you can have your knees much closer together. It really depends on how your knees feel. And the way I like to get into it, because this is a spine straightener, a spine lengthener, is I like to just sit upright with my hips down in between or on top of my heels, and then just walk my hands forward, bringing my chest down towards the mat, even though it might not get there. And you can use a block underneath your head or a rolled up towel if that's significant for you. From here, your arms can be straight. You can bend your elbows and rest your elbows and your forearms and your hands on the mat. Soften your inner thighs, soften your belly. And then take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and exhale it out through your nose. Then take another deep cleansing breath in through your nose, out through your nose. Let your breath come to its own natural rhythm, in and out through your nose. You may be able to feel your breath on your feet with your exhales. Listen to your breath here. You get the added benefit of having the mat right next to your ears, reflecting the sound, so you can hear how you're breathing. And note if your breath is long and steady, or if it's short and a little bit jagged. It really doesn't matter. There's no reason to correct it, improve it, or make it better in any way. This is your own natural breath that you've been using for years. As you breathe in, try breathing into different parts of your lungs. Maybe diaphragmatic breathing, where you push your belly out so that your lungs can expand down in towards your abdomen. You can feel your belly push against your thighs. And then as you exhale, when you're all the way empty, draw your navel in and up to squeeze the last bit of breath out of your lungs and begin again. Maybe take a couple of breaths into your kidney areas. Try to slow down your breath. Try to make the exhales a little bit longer than your inhales. By breathing in and out through your nose, you're cleaning the air, you're warming it up or cooling it down, and you're moistening it, getting it ready for your lungs. Feel your hips opening here as your pelvis tries to fall down farther towards the mat. Notice how open your pelvic floor feels. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, begin to slowly walk your hands back towards your chest and coming up all the way into table. And do a few cat-cows here. So first, set your table with your knees directly below your hips, your wrist crease below your shoulders. And on an inhale, your belly drops, your chest comes forward, your chin comes up, and your sit bones lift and separate. And on an exhale, round your spine, tuck your tailbone under, and last, your chin comes towards your chest. And then on your own inhale, go back into cow, and then exhale with cat. You're warming up your spine, exercising your lungs. The next time you come to center pause, from here, walk your hands and knees over towards the left side of your mat. This first pose is going to be shoeless, so you may need a block near your hips. You may need a strap. So get those available, and then on an inhale, lift that left foot up, push it towards the back of the room. Keep your hips level. And then on an exhale, bring that left knee down behind your right. Cross that left foot way off to the right side of your mat. And your right foot off to the left, like you don't know what you're doing. And then walk your hands back. If you need to use a block to elevate your hips, come into this pose a little bit easier, go right ahead. That's what I always do. Try to get both sit bones resting on the mat or on your block or towel. And if this is just not going to work for you, you can always straighten out that bottom leg. Bringing it out towards the front of the room, and then crossing your right leg over the top. But that's up to you. This pose, you should be feeling this in your glutes and in your hip sockets. And one easy way to see how that feels on the outside is just bring your hands around behind you and feel all the way up to the top of your glutes. Run your hands down to where your hip flexors are. I'm sorry, where your hip joint is. Straighten up your spine. In this calming moment, just soften up your thighs, and your calves and your feet. That will make the rest of the pose a little bit easier. And we're going to do eagle arms here. So with your right leg on top, that means your right arm will be underneath. So take your left hand out with the palm up towards the front corner of your mat, front right corner. Take your right elbow underneath the left. And then bend both elbows and try to bring your palms together. That might only be a dream, as it used to be for me. Maybe once you get as far as you can, and that may be just having your hands close to each other. And if it's too much, you can always just grab opposite shoulders. That's not a lesser pose. That's an intelligent alternative. My physiologist has been working hard with me, and I have an extra 2 inches of palm to palm than I did 2 months ago. So progress is available, just takes time and patience. And then on your next exhale, release your bind. Bring your arms way out to the side, push your chest forward, gaze up if you wish, stretching open your chest. Then bring your palms together far in front of you. Interlace your fingers, supinate your hands, palms away. And then on an inhale, raise those palms up towards the ceiling and feel your shoulders opening as they rotate from that inward rotation on the eagle arms to right now. And then release. Let your arms just float down. Now for Gomukhasana arms. So from here, raise your right arm up towards the sky, your bicep next to your ear. Take your left hand out to the side, thumb down. Bend that left elbow. Bring the back of your hand to your back. Begin to walk it up. Bend that right elbow. Pat yourself on the back. And maybe you can make a bind with your fingers behind your back. If you can't, you can always grab a towel or your t-shirt or a strap. This is opening up your shoulders in a different manner. And of course, the shoulder work is only a ruse to get you to forget about your hips. That never worked with me. And on your next exhale, release. Bring your arms down. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, palm to palm with your thumbs at your chest. And then just open up your palms up towards the ceiling. And then just rock your arms back and forth like you have a really big baby. And the next time you come to center, pause there. Now for the easy part, to get your legs out of this. You're going to end up on your back, so the best way might be just to lean back and just let your legs come out in front of you. If you have to come over frontwards onto your hands and knees, that's fine too. But find your way onto onto your sit bones, and then maybe do a couple of windshield wipers, or maybe just stretch out your legs, pushing your heels away, pushing your calves into the mat, really opening up, stretching all your legs. From here, come down onto your elbows, all the way down onto your back. Grab your strap, and just lay that strap across your chest for a moment. Bend your right knee, bringing that up into your chest. With both hands, grab onto that right knee. Try to draw that knee in towards your chest, maybe in towards your right armpit. You're getting ready to do this pose where your leg goes up and out. And then, keeping your knee where it is, take the center of the strap and bring it over the ball of the foot and across the pads of your toes. Grab one end of the strap with each hand, and then put your footprint up on the roof, on the ceiling. Now straightenish that leg so that you can begin to feel your hamstring stretch. And from here, draw your arms outward. That will put a little bit of downward pressure on that leg. And if you'd like to intensify that hamstring stretch, you can always draw that foot a little bit farther towards the wall beyond your head. You may find that if you put a little bit of strain there, that your leg starts to shake. And that's good. That means that your leg is experiencing a little bit of tension that it doesn't normally encounter. But try softening that leg. Breathe into wherever it's shaking. And then, when you're ready, change the bind to just your right hand. Do that carefully. Wrap the strap around your palm so that it's easy to hang on. Bring your left hand on top of your left hip crease, top of your left thigh. And on an exhale, begin to let that right leg come out to the right. And as it comes out slowly, you can begin to feel your groins begin to pull. Keep your sacrum flat on the floor. Now here you can play around with this pose a little bit. You can intensify the pull by taking your foot farther towards the wall beyond your head. If you're all the way down onto the mat, lift that foot up and give more tension. It doesn't matter how wide that leg is. It matters that you feel this in your thigh, in your groin, and in the back of your thigh, your hamstrings. Soften your right leg. You can always rest that right elbow on the mat or on the floor. Just experience what gravity is helping you do. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, slowly bring that right leg back up towards the ceiling. Keep pressure on it. You want that tension to remain. And when you get up on, right up on to the ceiling, pause there for a moment. Reach up with your left hand and carefully change your bind into that left hand. Again, wrap the strap around your palm so that it's easier to hold on to. And again, you can feel your hamstring. That's that big muscle in the inner middle part of your thigh. And then, keeping your sacrum flat, urge your right foot to the left, only as much as you can without lifting your sacrum. That might mean you only move 8 inches, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Keep the tension there. Maybe with your right hand, you can just bring that right hand over the muscles of your right leg, all the way from your hip joint, because you can certainly feel that. Cross your quads, your hamstrings up into your gastrocnemius, that big calf muscle. And then on the next inhale, bring that foot back up to center. Bend your knee. Bring that knee in towards your chest. Unbind your foot. And draw that knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Bring your left knee in to join the right. And rock from left to right. Massaging your lower spine. And then coming all the way over onto your right side. Push yourself up into a seated position. From here, it doesn't matter how your legs are. You can be cross-legged, you can be straight-legged. What I'd like you to do now is to begin to stretch your neck. So from here, sit tall. The important thing here is to keep your spine straight and allow, on an exhale, your chin to come forward. It sometimes helps if you have your hands on your knees. That way you can detect if your chest is moving one direction or the other. So your chin comes forward, and then over the course of 4 breaths, completely circumnavigate your shoulders. So inhale, moving your ear towards your right shoulder. Exhale. Inhale, start going towards the back where your chin rises a little bit. You don't want to overdo this. And then begin to come over towards your left shoulder. You're trying to get the little bit of tension that you have in between all your muscles of your neck to release. That's the snap, crackle, pop. Keep on going around. And the next time you come to center, pause and reverse. One more time around. The next time you come with your chin at your chest, pause there. Inhale your chin up. And from here, I'd like you to sit on your left hand so that your sit bones are on your left hand. That will immobilize your left shoulder. And there's a reason for this. I'd like to get you to engage your left trapezius. So from here, take your right hand up and bring that right hand over your left ear. And then begin to take your right ear towards your right shoulder, just enough so that you have a bit of tension in your shoulder. And that would be right along the top of your scapula here and coming over towards your left shoulder. And then on an exhale, release, come up. This time, reach towards the back of your head, back left of your head, and you're going to do the same thing and try to draw your head towards your right knee. And again, you don't want to do too much, but what this is doing, this is stretching the muscle, the part of the trapezius that's attached to the very top of your shoulder blade. And many times, there's so much tension there that you don't get full range of your shoulders. Now, normally you'd be holding this for 45 seconds to a minute, but we don't have quite that much time. So inhale, come back up. Release your right arm. Get your left, retract your left hand, and then sit on your right hand. Do the same thing on this side.
Yeah.
So reach up towards the ceiling with your left hand. Reach over your head towards your right ear, and then slowly, gently, you don't have to put a lot of pressure here. You want to make sure that this is going, the tension is going into your trapezius. So you should feel this all the way out to your shoulder. Mm-hmm. If you're only feeling this on your little neck muscles, just back up, because your neck muscles can't take that much pressure. And then release. Inhale, sit up straight. You're going to take your head again, this time towards your left knee. And then just let your head be drawn forward and down a little bit. And you ought to be able to feel this on your shoulder blade. Up right just behind your collarbones here. And you may feel this tomorrow, but that's okay. And then on the next exhale, release, sit back up. Get your right hand back, place your hands on your knees, and one more time around each direction. So with your own breath, chin to chest, and go around one direction and then the other. And when you've done both sides, release, come back up. The next pose Just bring your feet out in front of you with your soles together. We're coming into butterfly, and if you wish, you can use blocks. It's not necessary, but inhale your spine tall. Get your feet a modest distance in front. Don't make it so tight that your heels are trying to get up to your sit bones, but have a little bit of space there. Inhale your spine tall, and then exhale, walk your hands forward, drawing your collarbones towards the front of the room, letting your knees come down. You should be feeling this in your groins and in your spine, and in the muscles right alongside your spine. Now here, you can tuck blocks underneath your knees, just barely. You don't want to have much support because you want to be able to experience gravity's influence on your body. You'll feel your knees coming down as your body softens. You can bend your elbows. That can relieve a little bit of tension in your shoulders. If your elbows are bent, drop your shoulder blades down towards your hips. You should be feeling this in your lower spine. You may be able to feel this stretching your shoulder blades wide if your elbows are bent. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, begin walking your hands back. If you have any blocks, carefully set them aside. Gently lift both legs with your two hands and put your soles on the mat. Bring your hands behind your hips, and then windshield wiper your knees. This is bringing more blood to your hip flexors. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, come back onto your elbows and all the way down onto your back. And make sure you have the block handy. From here, bend your knees, walk your feet up towards your sit bones. Adjust your sacrum, maybe rock a little bit from left to right. Your hands next to your hips. Tuck your tailbone under, pushing the small of your back into the mat. And inhale, lift your hips up into a bridge. Feel this nice stretch in your quads, in your calves, and in your chest. On your exhale, release. This time, grab your block and be ready to place this block the highest way you feel comfortable. This block has 3 different heights, and you don't even need to use the block. If your spine does not want to do a bridge, you can just keep your hips right on the mat. But otherwise, on an inhale, tuck your tailbone under, lift your hips up, insert the block right underneath your sacrum. And then bring it back down so that your sacrum is supported the full width. So the length of the block goes from left to right. And if you are stable here, you can walk your feet out towards the front of the mat. You can keep your soles on the floor if that makes sense. Or you can come up onto your heels with your toes up. Feel this big stretch across the tops of your inner thighs. For you Ashtanga yogis, you can feel this across your Uddiyana Bandhas. Just that row of muscles of your lower abdomen between your pubic bone and your navel. If you'd like to make this a little bit more of a stretch and intensify, raise your arms up towards the ceiling and lower them onto the floor beyond your head. And find a way to rest your elbows, your forearms onto the mat. And just give in to gravity. Maybe you can feel your core softening, your rectus abdominis. Those are the muscles of your six pack. And then on an inhale, bring your arms back up towards the ceiling and back down next to your hips. Bend your knees. Walk your feet up towards your sit bones. Lift up your hips. Remove the block. Lower back down and draw your knees into your chest, either one at a time or together. And then rock from one side to the other. You can do that by just pushing one knee away at a time so you kind of sway back and forth like a rocking the baby, or you can do it together. And then coming all the way over onto your right side, push the floor away, come up through seated, and I'll meet you in table. So here in table, walk your hands and feet over towards the right side of the mat and do a couple of cat-cows here. And the next time you come to center, pause. Shoelace with the left leg on top is the next pose. So lift your right leg up, stepping on the back wall. Really push that heel away, stretching out that hamstring. And then bring that right knee behind the left. That right foot continues on towards the left side of the mat. Bend your left knee, you bring the left foot over towards the right side. Use a block if you want or need to, underneath your sit bones. Adjust your hips so that you have both sit bones engaged. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and let it all out through your nose. And you don't need permission to use a deep cleansing breath to bring a little bit of softness, a little bit of relaxation into your body. Whenever you get into a challenging pose, that's a smart thing to do because it automatically relaxes your nervous system, slows your breath and your blood pressure. Open your eyes. It's time for eagle arms on the left. So take your right hand, palm up towards the left front corner of the mat. Take your left elbow underneath the right. And bring maybe your palms together, maybe not. I'm much closer than I was a few weeks ago, but I'm still nowhere close. Now again, if this is a problem for you, you can always just grab opposite shoulders. If you're a man and you have tight shoulders, that might be the best that you can do. Or if you have an injury. Be compassionate with your own body. If you'd like, you can lift your elbows up a little bit, maybe push them out, creating a little bit more movement in your scapulas, drawing them apart and forward. Maybe that tightens up your eagle arms, and then just let gravity take over. And then on an exhale, release your bind. Bring your arms out wide again. Lift your chest, maybe your chin. And then bring your hands together, way out in front again. This time, interlace your fingers the wrong way, the opposite way that you had it the first time. And then supinate your palms away. And inhale, raise your palms up towards the ceiling. And notice how different this side feels with your hands interlaced the opposite direction. There's so little difference. You wouldn't think it would feel this different. And then on an exhale, release. Bring your arms back down. This time, if you need a strap, you can put a strap across your left shoulder. Lift your left hand up, pat yourself on the back, right in the middle of your back. Take your right arm out to the side, thumb down, bend that elbow, and then slowly walk that hand up towards your left hand, and maybe you can make a bind. And again, if you can't make a bind, that's fine. You're still opening up your shoulder, trying to get the full range of motion that your body is intended to have. But you have a history that is unique to you. And that history includes scar tissue, injuries, and experience. Then on your next exhale, release. This time, again, bring your hands down, Jali Mudra. Then just fold your forearms down and then rock your arms. Can be slow or fast, really doesn't matter. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, you're going back into a leg raise. So I'll meet you on your back. You may be able to just lean back and let your left leg and then right leg escape. If you have a block, move it. Get yourself centered on the mat. From here, you can stay on your back, pushing your, or on your elbows, push your heels away. Maybe roll your feet from side to side. Or roll up on one hip or the other and push that hip towards the front of the room. Whatever might feel good for you right now. Then coming down onto your back. Push your heels away. Then draw your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Keep your sacrum down. Maybe move that left knee out just a little bit. Maybe you can get it into your armpit. But again, push that right heel away. Keep that right leg active. Grab your strap and place the center of your strap around the ball of your foot and the pads of your foot. And then straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Put some tension into that strap. And if you put tension with your arms pulling apart, you're strengthening your shoulders, as well as working on your hamstrings. Remember, you can intensify this on your hamstring by just trying to draw that foot closer to the wall behind your head. And then, when you're ready, carefully make the bind into just your left hand. Turn that left foot out about 15 degrees. Right hand on top of your right hip crease. And then slowly over the course of maybe 4 or 5 breaths, lower that left leg down towards the floor, knowing that you're never going to get there. And if you're so flexible that you can get there, make sure that your leg doesn't. Just raise the foot up a little bit and put more tension and draw that leg even with your shoulder or possibly even with your head. You can use a block to support your arm if that seems reasonable. Or you can just let your elbow rest on the mat or the floor. Feel this in your groin, in your thighs. Your left hip flexor is working here too. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, slowly raise that leg up. Carefully change your bind into your right hand. Keep your sacrum flat on the mat. And you might not have a flat sacrum. You might have a rounded sacrum. So use your judgment. You just don't want to roll that left hip up off of the mat. As you carefully draw that right or the left leg off to the right just a bit so that you can feel this in your IT band on the left side of your thigh, maybe in your hamstring if you pull that leg, that foot farther over your head. and even into your calf. You can feel this in your hip socket too. And then on your next exhale, return that foot up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee. Release your bind. Draw that knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Push that right heel away one more time. And then bring the right knee into your chest. And rock again from left to right. And the next time you come to center, pause here. We're going to do a spinal twist with cat pulling its tail. So if you'd like to do cat pulling its tail, one of the easier ways to do it is to just lower your right foot down onto the mat next to your sit bones. Reach for it with your left hand. Your left knee is still into your chest. Grab that knee with your right hand and then roll over onto your right side. Now you have a hold of that left foot, and then on an exhale, stretch your spine long and arch your back. This is a back bending twist. Everybody's going to express this differently. If you are not enamored with doing the cat pulling its tail, that's fine. You don't have to do that. But find a twist here where you can feel this in your spine and your obliques and the rest of your core. You can feel this across your chest with your pecs. If you're really flexible, maybe you want to straighten out that left leg so that you get an IT band stretch at the same time. That might be too much for you. Not every pose is good for everybody. Soften your abdomen. Soften your right shoulder. That will allow your left shoulder to yield to gravity a little bit. Soften your glutes. Breathe into your belly. That sometimes allows your core to soften. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next exhale, release your foot and roll onto your back. Draw your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Push your hips away as you begin to rock from left to right and massage your chest and your abdomen side to side. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, you have cat ponytail on the left side. So drop your left foot down, reach for it with your right hand. And again, this may not work. You may want to use a strap or just don't do it. And then on your next exhale, roll all the way around to your left side. And it doesn't matter if you come out of position, but when you're ready, then stretch your chest long and back so that your left shoulder's on the mat and you're arching your spine in this back bend and twist. Reaching that right shoulder farther away, knowing that getting your shoulder to the mat is not important. It's the stretch in the pose. And your objective here is to feel it in the targeted areas, which are your core, your spine, your upper body. If you need a little more space for your head, just move your head an inch to the right. You don't have to be straining your neck, trying to see the floor of the wall on your right. And then soften your belly. Maybe you can feel your skin running by your lowest ribs, especially on the left side where you have a lot of tension. Soften your glutes. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next exhale, release your binds. Bring your knees back to center. Bring your knees up into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. And again, push your hips away, making a little bit of space, a little bit more space between your hips and your shoulder blades. Rocking from left to right. Or you may want to do some big circles on the ceiling. Whatever feels best for your body right now is what you should do. And when you're ready, come to a pause at center. Release one leg out to the front corner of the mat, and then the other leg out to the other corner. Bring your arms up overhead and towards the wall beyond you, and stretch your fingernails away and your toenails away. And then, in the process of making a snow angel on the floor, just rest your arms where they feel most comfortable. They can be at 9 and 3 o'clock. They can be at 10 and 2. They can be back down by your side, where your shoulders have been opened with a couple of really good stretches. So maybe you'll want your arms out to your side. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and let it all out through your nose. Take another deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Exhale it all out through your nose. And take rest. Let your feet just fall away. Let gravity have its way with your body. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes, to your wrists and to your ankles. And when you're ready, bend your knees, walk your feet up towards your sit bones. Draw your knees into your chest, giving yourself another squeeze, and rock again from left to right. Massaging your spine. And then coming all the way over onto your right side using your right arm as a pillow, pause there for a moment. And then, not being in a hurry, you can use that left hand to push yourself up into a seated position. Thank you for sharing this yoga class with me this afternoon. Each of you are inspiring to me. You are the reason why I teach, and I thank you. Taking good care of your body and your mind and your breath through the practice of yoga is not always easy, but it is always helpful. Take the kindness and compassion and empathy that you practice on your mat with you wherever you go and share it with everyone you meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Yin Yoga.